I want to rebuild our family after the cheating. The knock on the front door surprised me. First, it sounded timid and tentative. Second, it was on a Sunday and it wasn't even 8. It was 000 in the morning. And third, everyone, I already had a key to the apartment. Strange, but it could have been important, so I opened the door. I was stunned. That doesn't come close to describing my reaction to the thin, pretty blonde standing on the porch. Hi, James, Maddie. Beautiful, pretty, brilliant, vivacious Maddie, my ex. Wife Maddie. I really didn't want to see Maddie again. My heart was racing, but I tried to keep it together. Maddie, I'll give you 5 minutes, then I'll leave. I sighed dramatically, which was my limit for resisting Maddie's demands. I closed the door and followed her into the living room. She seemed agitated, unusually so, and I wasn't in the mood to bail her out. So, what do you want? Maddie's big blue eyes roamed the room quickly, but there were few clues. The apartment was new, and the bedrooms, bathrooms, kitchen, and office were the priority, so personal belongings were still in boxes. She glanced meaningfully. She chose to remain standing and turned to face me. She asked if I would offer tea or coffee. She pointed out that I wasn't a guest. Maddie then proceeded to say what she wanted to say. She asked what was up. James replied with a chuckle. She then asked why I cared. I responded that I loved her. James then said that he had always loved me, made love to Tom. It was Maddie's turn to sigh. You know why he was the first guy I ever loved. He was my first lover. We have a very special bond. I didn't think you should have shared that information with me before we got married. I didn't think I still had to. He joined the army and I hadn't seen or heard from him in 14 months. I fell in love with you, and yet you slept with him every time he came back to town a few weeks before we got married. For the 3 years we were married, you never gave up on him even when you swore fidelity to me. The detectives had it all figured out in the divorce settlement. At least she had the decency to look at the floor. Maddie, I want my husband back to rebuild our family. Maddie, I'm not coming back. You burned down our family. I didn't want a divorce. You left us, and then you wouldn't talk to me. I've been trying to talk to you for 2 years. I have nothing to say to you and you have nothing to say to me. I want to hear what you have to say about Tom taking advantage. I want to hear what you have to say about wanting to be with me. I just wanted him too, now and then. I don't play that game. You didn't play that game. I had to choose between us, so I did. Maddie's eyes glistened with tears. I don't claim to understand her, but the relationship she wanted would have killed me if I said yes. It was all leading up to this. Your baby needs you, James. My head was spinning, my ears were ringing, and I could barely think. Beth's not mine, she's Tom's. That's what I said at the custody hearing. We could find a solution together so you can see Beth. I know you love her, but I'm not talking about Beth. We have a son, Jimmy. I didn't think I could get any louder, but I did. I don't know how I managed to stay on my feet because I don't remember anything about the next few minutes. My mind just went somewhere else to digest. When the news came through again, I couldn't help but laugh bitterly. I've seen this show before, Maddie. We're having a baby. Oh, James, you're going to be the best daddy ever. But it was Tom's baby, not mine. Still, it's true. I didn't know I was pregnant when you served me with divorce papers. And when I didn't get my period, I thought it was just stress. When I realized I was pregnant, we'd already signed everything and Tom and I were making plans for the future. So, what part of your plan for the future brought you here? I'm here because I love you. Your attitude towards me demonstrated that her tears burst out and rolled down her cheeks. They seemed sincere, but with Maddie you couldn't really be sure. Jimmy needs his father and Beth misses you terribly. So do I. Beth was only 2 years old when we broke up. She was away from me for longer than she was with me. You've been able to find me any time since I moved out. What's really going on, Maddie? She lowered her eyes again, and tears rolled down from her long lashes. Tom left a couple of months ago. I don't know where he is, but he said he's not coming back ever. Why, Maddie? He hesitated. He couldn't. You have to accept the fact that Jimmy was your son. I couldn't help myself. I smiled wickedly. Well, then you've made a bad choice. Please, James, I'm begging you. I love you, the kids love you. We're supposed to be a family. We belong together. This is serious. Who is listed as the father on Jimmy's birth certificate? Maddie sobbed, then squeezed out quietly. Tom. Then it looks like Maddie was looking for her husband in the wrong place. She said, Please, James, I really love you. You're the only husband I want. You're the only one I've ever wanted." Her face was contorted in agony, and she was breathing heavily as she cried. There was deep regret evident in her sobs. I fought myself not to reach out with a comforting hand. She just looked lost, pathetic, and gone was the dynamo. I had fallen in. Love was replaced by this sad and desperate weight. I felt my heart begin to break for her pain, but somehow I didn't have any pain of my own. I was saved by the sound of a key in the front door lock. I turned around in relief, and a smile of anticipation appeared on my face. The door swung open to reveal a slender, dark-haired vision in yoga. Pants and a puffy jacket, holding a bag of baked goods and a cardboard tray with 2 paper cups with lids. "You're home," I said, smiling broadly. Sally answered me with a dazzling smile, but then she saw Maddie and looked at me puzzled. "Honey, it's Maddie." The realization came, and Sally's lip pressed firmly together, then curled into a cold smile. "Maddie, I've heard a lot about you. This is Sally, my wife." I wasn't supposed to take pleasure in Maddie's misery. Her eyes widened, then turned into slits. She nodded and started to sob, shaking her body. She rushed past us, leaving the door open. I carefully closed the door behind her. "Are you okay, sweetie?" Sally stared intently into my eyes and she lightly touched her hand to my cheek. I was a little scared. I knew I would see her again someday, but I never imagined anything like this. What did she want? Reconciliation? Tom ran away and she claims I'm the father of her son. Oh no. James, can it be true? It could be. When it became clear she wasn't going to give up, I quickly finalized the divorce. We had some money. I gave her whatever she wanted to get her to sign it. It's quite possible she was pregnant without knowing it. What are you going to do if that's true? I took the tray and bag from Sally and put them on the kitchen island. I unbuttoned her puffy jacket and hung it in the hall closet. Then I hugged her and kissed her on the lips. What are we going to do? As you always told me, my love, do the right thing. If I'm this boy's father, Maddie and I will find the best way to support him, but it'll be within the confines of our marriage, you and me. I'm never going back to her. She smiled and disappeared into me. Sally was my rock after Maddie's betrayal. At first, I was a hopeless, prickly, suspicious, pouncing mess, ready to lash out at the slightest provocation, real or imagined. Sally was there for me when I needed her, no matter what. She showed me that I could trust her with everything and that I was worthy of love. She was kind, patient, and loving, even when I was at my worst. Together, we built a strong, lasting partnership. I love this woman so much. Anyway, I said, running my hands over the baby bulge that had been visible for a couple of weeks now. We have something of our own that will soon demand our full attention. Sally gave me another of her loving smiles. Speaking of which, your baby and I are very hungry. Where did you put the scones and tea? We laughed and holding hands together, we headed for the kitchen.